2, 3, and we're back. Welcome to a new chapter of the Awesome Stuff Badly podcast. We at long last managed to get our reactive coffee patch working properly. So now we're going to try and start integrating, testing, and using it on our original Hour of Node project. Let's get started. Here again with the lovely Miss Whitney, and we are now closing our reactive coffee files, hopefully for the moment, and going back into the Hour of Node. So the Hour of Node is a single page web application that is designed to let kids program a bunch of robot turtles and possibly other sprites, animation objects around on the screen. And to get it up and running the very first time, what we did was we grabbed this boilerplate HTML, and let's actually check our git status here to make sure we've what we've been doing. Right. So we were trying to do a bunch of SVG stuff there and failing, which is why we had to go back and dig into the whole world of reactive coffee. And in particular, we wanted to make sure that we could use an integrated SVG implementation in reactive coffee rather than having to hack our own on top of it. We basically hacked it inside is what had happened. So anyway, this is one of the things was that the namespaces weren't behaving properly, which was causing us some confusion. So I think we don't need that change anymore, so we'll go clear that. So we've got a pristine git. Okay. Yeah, we were using an HTML template, really aren't using any of that anymore. Let's clean that up a bit. So these are all the different tools we are using, and for some reason I'm using 0.05 of reactive coffee, which is, I think, pretty old. We're at like 1.2.2 by now. That must be something I'd grabbed from a script somewhere. Instead, what we should do is, oops, what's that G there for? What we want to do, okay, well, I should walk through this. So this is all the client side includes, that it's just going to grab from the internet rather than us compiling it into our server. And
Dr. Arnie?
Yes?
You mind sharing? Doing this?
Oh, I'm sorry. I've been going off and on without actually giving you the. We're in the video call, right? Where is that window? I deeply apologize. Glad you were there, so otherwise everyone else would be staring at a blank screen the entire time as well.
No worries.
All right, you got it?
Got it. Thanks.
Sweet. Okay, so let's see, the window's here. So we've got our little, can you read the font on this okay? Can we pop that up a bit more?
Yeah, that looks good.
All right, put that out. And then we have all these things that we were messing around with. Well, let's close this for now and start over again when we need it. And then we have our text view, which I kind of set TextMate to just have a larger font all the time. Would be a bad policy. Themes. Nope, probably no easy way to do this that I can find. Is that readable? Hello?
Thumbs up. Yep.
All right. And then what we need to do is, okay, so let's go through the app. It's real simple. We have the web page here, which has the client-side JavaScript includes that are loaded by the client, so I don't have to carry them around on the server. We'll have to do some performance testing to see if that's really the right thing in the distant future. It's got just a little HTML p tag there so I can tell that the file is loading properly. And then everything else is JavaScript from this main.js file. And the way that works is that I have a main.coffee file, which requires multiple node modules. And then those modules, and yeah, this is the manual SVG business that I had it trying to do and more or less failing to do because of the same problem we talked about before, that when you just use the existing make tag implementation, it would create HTML elements which the browser would not interpret because it was expecting SVG elements for those things. So that's where we were when we got stuck last time. And we had, in order to build this, let's see if I can find my thing, we had a tool called Browserify, which after bouncing against a wall for a day, I realized there's a module called Coffeeify, which will automatically take the CoffeeScript file and all the modules it depends upon and create a lib file. And so the, and in particular that it should be going into lib.main.js, which is the thing that's loaded by the web page. So the last thing I was going to try and do was something called Watchify, which rather than manually rebuilding it each time, it would just watch it and automatically do that. And that was the day that Watchify decided to go into a weird state. I think they pushed a new version of Browserify that confused all the SHA sums. It was just one of those days. And so this is a much happier Watchify. And let's see if we can make it just do this for us automatically.
That's pretty cool. So does it just listen for you to change or save changes to your JavaScript file, and it automatically compiles them, or your CoffeeScript files, and compiles them to JavaScript?
That's what it should be doing, yes. So basically it should I think that's a warning because if those things are present, it will use them, but if not, it will ignore them. So I believe that I can ignore all of those messages that just came on the screen. And let's test it out here by just making a nice little here file. Is it going to reload it for me? It should be giving me a some kind of a message. One thing we can do is start looking at this. Yeah, tickle this version number here to make it. Okay, not doing a whole lot here. So first, let's just do this and make sure that the whole Browserify toolchain is working properly. Where is our? Let's make this a little smaller so we can see a bit more on the screen at once. Close that, and then what we want to do is open web/index.html. Okay, version 3, yes. So this is the thing that we are building. Not much there yet, but yes, why is this not working? I do have a little bit of dynamic text there, which is nice. So that makes me confident that it is actually rendering the reactive coffee portion correctly, even if the HTML is being rendered properly, even if the SVG is not.
Right.
Okay, and then what we're going to want to do is, just for the record, the other modules are an inline editor and a data model, mostly just to test that I could get the whole module thing working properly. Okay, so Browserify is working, Watchify is not, and I don't know why. I'll give it a few seconds to see if I can get it verbose. That helps. Yeah, there we go. Let's try v4 and see if that. Shows up automatically. Ahoy! Yes!
Great.
Working with Wattify. Nice. Remember to use the -V so it actually tells you something. It's designed to, I guess, run in the background silently. You're no longer worried about it working properly. So that's nice. Then, so I think the next step is getting it to work with a local copy of JavaScript, a reactive coffee, rather than the global coffee version. In which case, what we need to do is require it way up here. And let's see if someone's done this before. These, I believe, are examples. It's created with the index page. It's using Jade, which I think is a templating engine. And they are including all of that as a server-side tag from a file name. That actually makes a lot of sense. And that dist file that we just were dissing appears to be the way that they did that. So what that implies is that if we can figure out where the right reactivecoffee.min.js is, we could just grab that from our source. And so that seems like the simplest thing to grab would be that. And this,
So, Dr.
yes.
Is that the unified version of the reactive coffee that we updated to work with SVGs?
I do not believe so, because I don't think we created a dist, but we can check that. Great question. So there's make tag there. It's different than I recall, but oh, that's interesting. It's very different than I recall. Yes. Yes, it does not. Yeah, so that appears to be the pristine version because it does not have the SVG stuff that we added. It just says is the default SVG. But a great question to ask. And so the first question is can we just go ahead and change our HTML to point to that instead of going there? So that file name is, well, we're looking for that. Yes, data, so reactive coffee / dist / and in theory that should just be a nice relative path from the local file system. And so we actually don't need to do this, we can just rely on it being there. Let's just check my status there. Okay, let's just go back to that. And where's our little That's you. Our node. Yes. Okay, and it is definitely not running.
No.
Definitely doesn't trust us there. Um,
What's
the other path is the local paths with the module that we installed. Sorry, you had a question?
yeah, so it's not finding our local copy of the reactive copy script?
That's a good question. We should see whether it's finding it. Yes.
Okay.
It's expecting a that would be. Oh yeah, the dot dot may be part of the problem. Oh, that was the problem. Just it's missing a double dots because it was actually just 2 steps higher than. Because this thing is in a subdirectory, so.
Okay.
Now it's just complaining about not being able to actually read it. So, we have RX. Okay, we have the RX object, so it's definitely reading something in there.
Does it know RXT?
Yes, that was the other change he mentioned when we were talking about this, is that RXT is now part of the general RX, which is good for the hygiene, that it doesn't pollute the namespace with too many different names. Whoa, very good.
Great.
Now all we need to do is go into, so either we could do I wonder if there's a grunt dist that would actually just, oh, it is creating the, it doesn't look like it's creating the
I see.
dist files there. Which is interesting. And yes, this has got all the SVG brouhahas. So now if we run this, it's actually should be, get rid of this. What we want is equals rx.rxt.svg tags. Okay, we do have SVG tags. Okay, yay, we are making progress. Did we get that? Good. And I bet you the problem wonder if the problem is this. The name, let's change this, just try that, see if we get lucky. Ha 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 ha! Alt Atter, which is set prop, which is interesting. So we are definitely doing something, and it is generating. So we're loading our local copy, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. Let's just see if we get rid of this. If that makes life any less broken. Yep, we have that problem anyway. If we get rid of this, okay, definitely the get prop thing that was working, no. So it is more than a little suspicious that the ultimate adder thing that we were having problems with before is in fact giving us problems again.
Right.
Do we have an S here? No, we have RX. So RXT dot SVG tags dot rect. Right, that's the function that we want here. And we want to do it with, X10. Well, we are in JavaScript rather than CoffeeScript, so we have to. Now that's very interesting. That seemed to work quite nicely, didn't it?
Yeah, the set attribute.
So let's try this in the console. Okay, that's good. All right, this is our CoffeeScriptism.
Huh.
That worked nicely.
Yeah.
And then let's just go this guy here, same way. Of course. Begin expected paste and a object literal.
Oh, is it commas?
Quite probably, yes. Good point.
Yeah.
Anyway, the reality is that this thing seems to work fine standalone here, with the modulo. Yeah. Okay, so this properly generates a string. Now, whether it generates it as SVG, we're not 100% sure yet, but it's encouraging.
Right.
And yet, when we render the page, we get all sorts of errors and all sorts. Oh, this is an interesting question. Is it even in our SVG if that error is coming? Yeah, it is. Where? Aha. Our top level SVG object is where the error is occurring. Let's try that one just to see. There we go. Wait, didn't we just... Oh, we reloaded the page, that's why we lost it. Okay. Just raise the question why this doesn't inherit. I guess that's one of these weird JavaScript scoping things, of which there are nearly unlimited number. Aha! There we go.
Okay.
Guess we're getting our bug in. And it's there we go. So it's trying to do a jQuery action on something that is and is there any chance that what are the ones we're working? That would be too perverse, but it's not entirely inconceivable. No, okay. So there's... Is it because of the special adders? Aha!
Could you go through that change?
So what it is that I was looking at the special adder line in the code, and what it does is that there are certain attributes which are considered special, and so if it's present, it has a different code path for handling them. And class is the one. Ba-ba-boom!
All right. Awesome.
Now, it is not rotating, so we have not fully achieved our goal, but anyway, we are drawing a image on the web after massive thrashing around.
Yeah, we are doing awesome stuff better.
Yes. Awesome stuff less badly.
Less badly.
And on that note, I think we will call it a day. And
Okay.
Tomorrow I'm taking the morning off, and but I'll be around from around 1 o'clock on if you want to try and do this again. All right?
Okay, great.
Thank you so much. Hopefully you'll get to see you'll see our session online. Whether you hear your voice online is another question altogether, but one thing at a time.
Sure.
All right.